skip straight to the point. Can you share your lips with me in the joint? I mean, why not, baby? We young and we dumb. We don't even need a reason. Let's just do it for fun. Would you do it for love? Would you do it for me? I mean, I think we'll get there one day. Do you agree? I mean, if it wasn't for you, who would I be? I mean, I think it's you. I think I need, whoa, 90s R&B type love. I know you feel it too. Hope you feel.
And what is happening, everybody? It's your boy Blake Money Blake Weather. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the podcast. How's everybody doing on this fine December 9th, Monday afternoon here in beautiful Austin, Texas? Oh my God. First of all, guys, it's almost Christmas. Y'all can reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Money Blake Weather. Snapchat, y'all can find out what I want for Christmas. Just go ahead and reach out. Hey, hope everybody's doing good today. Whew, this has been a crazy journey how we get to the point we're at today because I have a awesome guest. We've broken down several of his songs on the podcast, and it's crazy, a crazy adventure how we got to the point we are here now. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard his music, you've heard his sounds, the one, the only, the powerful Rob Curley. Rob, how you doing, my guy?
Yo. Thanks for having me, dude.
Oh, my.
Glad to be here.
Yes, my guy. How's everything been, man, this year? First of all, happy holidays, all that good shit, man. How's everything been lately this year, man? Just filling the fans. I don't know, man.
Well, first of all, happy holidays, man. Christmas coming up.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? Gonna get a chance to see the family. It's been a really good year for music, man. You know what I'm saying? Dropped a couple of things this year. Working on some things already for next year. Hopefully, next year is a big year for me. You know what I'm saying? Rogers Ave just came out. That's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I really put a lot of myself onto that one. So I'm just glad people are really receiving it the way that I, you know what I'm saying, hope they would.
Right. I'm hoping everybody enjoyed just the way that the other EPs that you put out, man. And that's the cool thing about your music, bro. It's very digestible. I show it to a lot of my friends. It's a few songs here, a few songs there, namely the one, and we'll go back to this where this all started from for me and your journey. The Not Another Love Story. This is not a love story, right? Or Not Another Love Story. That's what it is. Is that inspired by that 500 Days of Summer? Because that's what he starts off, right?
Yeah, that's the vibe that I'm going for. That was my first time really delving into the lo-fi type of vibe.
Bro.
And I just felt like that 500 Days of Summer, those quirky relationship movies, that was really the vibe that I was trying to capture.
Yeah, man. And what's up, Rumi? And you put a couple of those cuts on the third song, Conclusions. You put a couple of those cuts on there, man. The Joseph Gordon-Levitt, what happens when you fall in love, you know what I mean? And Zooey Deschanel's answer is she's not having it. She's not having it. But it was funny because that whole EP right there made me go back and made me go watch the movie, and that's when I was like, oh shit, that's a good that was a reference. That had to be a reference to that. If I ever talk to Rob, I'm gonna ask him if that was a reference to that. It is. And what was, I think the big question that I've always had, man, is your music. I mean, obviously you do a lot of other shit. You do Coolin' and shit like that. You do a lot of other vibes. You do a lot of other tracks that are not relationship, dating, heartbreak oriented. With the ones that you've put out though, is it from one heartbreak, one big heartbreak that kind of lingers? Is it you just like me and you on a track of God damn, I get my heart broken again. God, there they go again. I put myself out there and vulnerable. What really inspires to make songs like that?
It's crazy because I get this question a lot, especially through the DMs, and people are always asking me oh, are all these songs about the same girl? And,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let me just clear the record, basically. Yeah. So basically, I want to say maybe in 2014, I dropped a song called 11.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah. So that might have been the first time that I really addressed this situation, this girl. Mm-hmm. And that song, I think that song did so well because it was when I wrote it, there was no plan. It was just I was coming right off of me and her went through a situation, and I was like drinking, and I didn't really drink, you know what I'm saying, like through my whole high school, like, so it was like one of my first times really drinking, and I just got into the vibe, and I just let it all out. I mean, ever since then, like I've pretty much been speaking on the same girl for a long time. I've just now recently, maybe in Rogers Ave and a little bit on Seasons, started to like touch on like different situations and like a new girl and stuff like that. But for the most part, I was really going off of like one, maybe 6-year on and off thing.
Heartbreak, yeah. Heartbreak, relationship, dating. Bro, that shit is heavy, bro, to kind of relate to you. I mean, you know, you only know me on the podcast, what you listen to. I went through a 5.5-year breakup last February. And so there's a lot of your music that like I hear and I'm just like, God, I've been there. I've done that. I heard that. I think the biggest part of your music and that I've heard from a lot of people is like, you say the things that people think, but they can't articulate. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy, man? It's the same for me. You know, I say a lot of things on my music that I don't articulate in like real life, and like I need to be writing, I need to be rapping it, I need to have the beat to say those things.
Right. And you say
like to be honest, the girls in my life, they'll tell me like you know, like not that my communication is so much lacking, but that I say so much more in my music than I say to them. And it's like I really do use music to like lay that shit out. It's like a diary almost.
That's what I do with the podcast, man. Like there's some things where it just comes out.
Well, you know, man.
In the
zone. You know, man.
Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you. I totally feel you because there's some things I say on the podcast. You just in the zone, bro. And like I'm like I wish I would have said this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, or whenever I was in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Right on.
But yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. But okay, so that's interesting to know because I was listening today to Seasons, and there's a certain like attitude shift that's not on your previous songs. Like the previous songs are very like for those out there that have heard the podcast or want to go back and check out, we did break down the whole EP of Not Another Love Story, which is Honeymoon Reflections and Conclusions. We broke down Dreamville, Liquid Courage, and we broke down No Love. I broke that down with my boy Clove. And there's like a certain theme that's it's just like in pain is the best way I could describe it, right? Like a lot of pain, a lot of reflection, a lot of like going back and forth, like if I would have done this different, I could have, but no, I can't. And it's that dichotomy, right, of like what people go through after breakups, after separation. On the new, on I don't say the new one because you got the new one out, but on the Seasons, there's a certain shift change in the mindset that like you're like, you know what, I don't care if you go, like I'm gonna be okay. I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna be hustling. I'm gonna be getting this money. It's kind of alluded to on a couple of the older songs, but on the new one, it was very much a mind shift differential of like I'm not going to be the nice guy anymore. Like, you know, I don't need to do this. I don't need this shit, and I know I'm better off for it. I've been through it, and so that kind of makes sense now when you said these new ones are about new relationships, new people, man. What is dating like for Rob Curley? What is dating like for you, Rob? Like, you're an entertainer and doing all this stuff, man.
Shit is sad, man. I mean, as far as the Seasons goes, yeah, you're definitely gonna hear a different vibe because that was probably the first time when I was making music and I was in a totally new space. I was like around somebody new. I was in a new headspace. It was almost like, I mean, when you're with somebody new, you don't really want to talk about the old things anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you'll touch on it, but at the same time, then you start mixing in things with the new girl and things are happy. Like right now, I'm kind of writing from a place of like, I'm not necessarily like happy-go-lucky Rob,
right?
But I'm also speaking more like on like possibilities and, you know what I'm saying, the future instead of like, damn, like fate didn't work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
that's good, man. That's a good place to be at in life, nah?
Hey, man, no, it's definitely good transitioning from like the kind of dark place that I was sitting in to like where I am now.
That's definitely people want to see happy Rob now. You know what I'm saying? While we're talking about your music and all this, man, I talked to you before we started. I want to talk about the lyrics from the second verse of "Love Is Dangerous," and I want to do this because it's not always you get to have the artist in front of you able to talk about the fuck you want to talk about.
Let's get into it, man.
Here, and for those, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna play a bit of that, and and one thing I want to shout out to you. Thanks for not suing me for me putting in your music on the podcast.
Man, hell no.
I'm gonna put a snippet of that verse right in here for those of y'all who haven't heard the song, and we'll be right back.
I feel like I should go. This ain't my seat no more. Yeah, love is dangerous. I would take the risk if you made some changes. Call me crazy, but you be talking crazy. You would think I never held you down the way you paint it. Funny, ain't it? How you could break your fucking back for a bitch who hate it. When you treat her famous, cause she used to anguish. Finally break down the walls just to find the mazes. It's amazing. Yeah, so amazing. But all that history don't mean shit now. We've been on and off a lot, need to reset now. You gon' need some time alone, you should reflect now. Tryna hit me on my phone, I put that face down. Yeah, I feel like I should go.
So that was a snippet of it, and I'm gonna read you the lyrics just in case you didn't get it. So the second verse is, love is dangerous. I would take the risk if you made some changes. Call me crazy, but you be talking crazy. You would think I never held you down the way you paint it. Funny, ain't it? How you can break your fucking back for a bitch you hate it. When you treat her famous, cause she used to anguish. Finally break down the walls just to find the mazes. It's amazing. Yeah, so amazing. But all that history don't mean shit now. We've been on and off a lot, need to reset now. You gonna need some time alone, you should reflect now. Trying to hit me on my phone, I put that face down. Woo! Woo! Rob.
Oh man, you bringing back memories, bro.
Bro, that verse is so real. It's so fucking honest, man. Love is dangerous. And there is some points where people like you would say, I would take the risk if you made some changes. Call me crazy. Cause it's like when you talk to your boys and you'd be like, man, if she came back and like, I'm just saying, like, maybe I'll go back to it. And then they're like, man, get out of here, man.
Yeah, man. It's one of those situations where it's like, maybe you fuck with somebody so heavy, and it's just like, if they would just like do the bare minimum to like be a decent person, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To like make shit work. You're just like, fuck it, I fuck with you so heavy, I'll run it back one more time.
Right.
But it's just like, sometimes they won't, or sometimes that's just who they are. They're just in a place in their life where they just can't be who they need to be to, like, you know what I'm saying, make things work.
Make things work, yeah. And so that's why I like it says, call me crazy, because it's a crazy feeling. You're like, man, I know I'm crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? But
exactly.
But then you say, but you be talking crazy. You would think I never held you down the way you paint it. Funny, ain't it? I love that, because that is like when you separate, people don't never, I think, and I think, I'm sure we're all guilty of it. You try to think of like, you do all the negative things. You think of all the negative things instead of thinking of like almost damn near all the positive things that's way always outweighs the negative stuff. But like, it's always like, man, this person wasn't this and they didn't do this and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I love that. I love it. And it's funny, because that's how this other person painting that picture, man. Funny, ain't it? And I love this line. How you can break your fucking back for a bitch you hate it. When you treat her famous, because she used to anguish. Yeah. Bro, I want to get up out of my seat right now when I read that, man.
Dude, I'm literally just speaking from the heart, man. Like,
it's a funny situation though, because I very much go through this, right? Like, you meet somebody new, and I use a lot of dating apps and shit like that, man. Bumbles and not so much Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, shit like that. And it's funny when you meet people, they look like they got this shit together on their profile. They look like they got their life together, and you go on a few dates, and then you realize, man, like you try to treat them nice, you try to do all these things, and then you still realize like they're not used to this, and sometimes it scare them away, or like they just, something about it is just like, why are they treating me nice? Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't, I think people that go through distress prior to relationships and dating, they carry with them a certain baggage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you paint that picture so well with when you treat her famous because she used to anguish. Like, man, I can't even, I don't even have the words for that. And this next line is it. Finally break down the walls just to find the mazes. Bro, if that ain't the realest shit I've
Dude, I mean, I swear it's like we all go through the same shit, man. We really do.
Yeah, like you like, okay, I've got over this from where, you know, when you date, right? Like you make it past, like usually people like, they like to play their options, like to play the field, but like you make it past all of them, and you're like, I made it past all. Now we in the zone, right? And you're like, God damn, oh shit, I made it past all this just to realize like there's this whole another world I ain't never make it past. Like,
yeah, I mean, you think you got somewhere, and then there's like a whole nother level.
The whole nother level.
Then, there's a whole nother level, and I mean, when it comes to that, like you treat her famous and she used to anguish. It's like this reoccurring thing that I'm realizing. It's like, and I hate to say it, it's almost like you can't just be 100% vulnerable and love this woman, because she needs like that. She needs that little bit of drama. She needs that little bit of like, not I don't care, but that little bit of like, I don't need you too much, just to keep her interested. And it's crazy because it's just like, they fall, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you fall in love with this like fairy tale, like, oh, I just want to be in love and have somebody that cares about me. But it's like, not really.
Yeah.
You kind of need that drama for you to stay interested. And like, you just used to bullshit, so that when something really good comes around, you question it so much that you kind of ruin it. You know what I mean?
Yes, bro. I'm a super. I mean, not to brag about my. I like to think and a lot everybody around me. I'm a really nice guy when I date girls. I'm just like a super like sweet guy. I'm genuine. I am vulnerable. I'm a Cancer, so goddamn, I wear my heart on my sleeve type shit.
All right.
And I was talking with my brother actually, man, and he made this great analogy. It's basically what we're talking about right now. He's like, bro, like. He's like, you can't be just like, you do got to introduce a little drama. You got to introduce a little bit of this. He's like, they love roller coasters. I don't know. He's like, I don't know why girls love roller coasters, but they love them. He's like, it's like this, man. If you were to eat filet mignon every day, it's really fucking great, and you love it, and it's really fucking good. He's like, eventually there's going to be a day, though, you get tired of this shit. And you don't just want you some filet mignon. You want you some, maybe you want you some raggedy shit. Maybe you want you a $1 hamburger from McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what? He's on to something, man.
Yeah, for real. And it makes a lot of sense in that analogy, man. And also, I was reading this book, man, and it ties in really well to this line. Have you ever heard of this book called Attached?
Yes, I haven't.
Okay, so it describes and if you ever get into, you know, right, I mean, these are right up your alley type shit. Attached is a book about attachment theory. And attachment theory is the theory of how we our interpersonal relationships with people, like how we manage them. And our attachment style highlights when we date. And so there's 3 attachment styles. There's secure, there's avoidant, and there's anxious. So secure is basically, you know, it's that love that we all want. It's, you know, you do your thing, babe, I'm gonna do my thing, and everything's gonna be hunky-dory and a-okay. But all of these attachment styles, before I get into the insecure ones, are based on our childhood, how we were loved or how we were not loved, and how we were lacking love or given love. And so avoidant attachment style, those are the type of people, like, when things get too real, they out here, they dip, you know, they're like, got too real, I gotta run, right? And the anxious attachment style is that attachment style when that starts to happen, if a moment like that starts to happen, like these people are clingy is a negative word for it, but they're very like they're questioning like, is this good enough? Am I good enough? Are you okay? Are you doing good? They basically put the other person's needs first. So when somebody else like that dips, and I've caught myself doing this because I have a part of my attachment style is when they start to dip, you start to like cling on. You start to like, hey, where are you going? What are you doing? Hey, what's going on? And it makes the person drive away even more. And it's similar to this, man. Like this is a perfect like wording of that. Like you don't know somebody until like you go balls deep into like, you know what I'm saying? Like dating them and finding out these things like behind closed doors, and like you spend days, hours, months with this person. And sometimes you find out like, damn, like you're just used to this. And like, I just want to treat you. Bitch, just let me love you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, man? Fuck.
Oh, man. That's the best way I could describe that. So I love it. So it's amazing. Yeah, so amazing. But all the history don't mean shit now. Oh, I love this. We've been on and off a lot. Need to reset now. Yeah, bro. Sometimes you need that little, hey, we press the reset. Let me reset real quick. Let's recalibrate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Let's try to just start from scratch one time.
Right.
Not for the one time, like.
And then, man, a lot of times though, I don't know. Sometimes that don't work, bro, and it sucks. And I love it how you say you're gonna need some time alone. You should reflect now. And I love this next line. Try to hit me on my phone. I put that face down. Goddamn, Rob Curley.
Hey, man. Eventually, it's like you go back and forth a million times with somebody, and it's just like you finally get the picture. Like this shit is either say, look, this shit is either dead or this shit is just super unhealthy for me.
Mm-hmm. Super. I love the word. It's super unhealthy, bro. Like you start to understand, and I think this is where Seasons comes into play. That EP, where you start to understand what you're worth, and you start to understand who you need besides you, and how you should be treated. God damn it, you know what I mean? Like,
it's one of those situations where it's like I was telling my homie the other day because he was going through some shit, and I was like, dude, you gotta just remember who you are,
bro.
Like you get so lost in like this person and what they're doing, how they're treating you. It's like, dog, remember who you are. You're worth like respect and like, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. Like, just don't forget who you are and what you bring to the table.
Right, exactly.
Like, don't settle for the shit. Yeah.
Don't settle for the shit. I love it. And you know what, man, funny story. I'm starting to find that out like really recently, man. I've gone on a string of like, I've dated a lot of girls in the last year, bro, like mad number. And one of my recent guests did say, he was like, one of the best things, he's like, there's two things you find out about dating. He's like, you find out what you like, and you find out what you don't like. And that's really what this journey is about, man. Finding out what you like and what you don't like. And like one of my most recent experiences, I had a girl, man, on a first date, take me on a date, bro. Words. Yeah.
That's a new feeling, man. That's a new feeling. Because that shit doesn't come every day, man. Right. I know that.
Like all of every time, man. At first day, and she made like reservations at a little place, and it's like we did. Oh, yeah. I ain't never been treated like that, bro. Come on.
Yo, it's another feeling when you feel like when the girl is like putting in that next effort, because then you start feeling like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold up. Like.
Start giving the double take, like, hey, wait, hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, girl, hey. Yeah, man, it is that. And then I was telling a couple of my friends about this, and it's like what they told me. They're like, man, now you understand why, you know, we don't go all out, or why you shouldn't go all out, why what you're worth. Now you understand a little bit more what you're worth, what your value. I think that's what it is, right? You understand your value a little bit more, how you should be treated, how you shouldn't be treated. And like, it's a great comparison. And I love the, did you find like the clipping of like the speech that the dude was talking about on Love is Dangerous, where he was breaking down?
Yeah, man, that's my thing.
Yeah?
That's my thing. I like to find shit like that like kind of speaks to like what I'm talking about, but it kind of puts you in like a certain headspace.
It
But no,
speaks
I
to
definitely found that.
yeah, it speaks to the character of the song. You do that quite often.
Yeah, man. I like to do that just because like one, it like sets a tone for the song, but also like I kind of like to have like things to be explained clearly. Like that when I found that one, it's like a lecture from like some professor. I want to say from Yale, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like that shit just really helps you get like it really helps you feel what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like when I'm rapping, I'm just speaking from my experiences, and you may relate, you may not relate. But then when I have somebody else speak into it,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? It just takes it to that next level. I feel like that's why I always like to have like the movie clips and the, you know what I'm saying?
The one I was really like, I mean, not to say I'm not impressed by any, but the one I was really like blew me away was the one when you started No Love with the Woody Allen clip.
Oh yeah,
bro,
dude.
From was it Annie Hall?
Yeah.
That was the clip from Annie Hall where he talks about Annie and I broke up, and I'm trying to put the pieces together and yada yada, and I was just like, bro, because I broke down the song. I don't know if you've heard that particular episode, but I did break down the song, and I grabbed the full clip from YouTube of that particular scene.
Yeah.
And when you hear the full piece of it, it's just like, this is the spirit of the song, really.
Yeah.
Rob's trying to put together the pieces of what in the fuck happened. Like, where did we go wrong? Like, man, what is that? Where'd you get the inspiration to fucking do that? Like, are you just creative like that? Do you like movies? Do you like rom-coms? Is Rob Curley a rom-com guy? You know what I'm saying?
You got me. You got me. Hey, man, you got me, man. Like, as far as like, it goes back to the 500 things, the summer things, because like just that vibe, like those quirky movies, like about like romance, but then where they don't take themselves too seriously. Like I love those type of movies. But like when I saw that movie, it was just like, I was like, dude, this is like 500. It's not quite 500 Days of Summer, but I was like, this is like the vibe
Similar,
way before. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I love this shit. So for me to not use that would have just been like a loss. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I threw it in there. But like, that's my vibe. Just like that kind of like analytical look at like, yo, what are we doing? What are relationships? Like, why did the things turn out this way? Like I just love that shit. And when I heard that, I had to throw it in there. Like, it really just kind of portrays who I am. So I feel like when you hear that, you kind of take a dip into my world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It shows like a full, like, hearing it now, it does show like a full, like a new level to your creative side that like, I was like, yeah, this motherfucker be picking some shit right here, man. Do you have like a few favorite like jams of your old shit where you're just like, man, every time I hear this, either every time I hear this one, I'm like, ugh, or I can't hear this one because it dips me into my feels too much. You have any?
I have a song called Closure.
Yeah.
And like every time I hear that song, it just like, it puts me in a place. For some reason, like I really don't, like I'll drop music and I really don't want to hear my shit after I drop it. Like I'm totally off it. Because, I mean, once I put it out, I've already heard it a million times. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have a song called Closure, and I mean, when I hear that song, it's almost like I'm listening to another artist. Like that shit always hits me a certain type of way for some reason.
Right in the feels, huh, Rob Curley?
Yeah, man, right in the feels, man.
Yeah, I definitely do know what you're talking about when you hear it a million times. And for those that don't know, like what he's talking about, I used to be a rapper back in the day, man. Produce and rap, and I even did singer-songwriter type shit. So if I was rapping your words pretty okay, hey man, I got a little experience under my belt, Rob.
Yeah, man, you was killing it, man. You was killing it.
But for those that don't know, like the when you make a song, you've heard the beat 1,000 million times. When you're in the studio, you're trying to perfect it. Even in the mixing portion, even when you're writing lyrics, sometimes you want to go back. You're jamming it in the car just to make sure like you get that final mix down. Usually, like you have probably listened to the song, no lie, 500,000 times. Like in some shape, way, or form. You've heard that song.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I totally hear you when you're like, man, I had already heard it like 100 million times. But it's always cool. And I have a few songs like this where you can go back and you're like, damn, I did that? Damn.
Exactly.
Is he speaking to me?
Exactly.
I'm speaking to me.
Like, I'll hear the song, I'll be like, damn, dude, I can relate. And I'll be like, no, I want, like, no shit. Like, it's my fucking story. Like,
that reminds me of like that. There's like a Facebook meme where dude wrote like, hey man, who else out there is high? And then he commented on his own post. He's like, I'm high, bro. And then he commented,
Yeah.
oh shit.
exact same situation, man. I'm like, wow. We're talking about some shit that hits close to home. Like,
oh man, I love this shit, bro. Okay, so Rob, you seem like a real like romantic type dude, like I am, man. I'm curious. Is there, you have any story, like a story, where it's like, this is the most romantic shit I've ever done on like a date or for a person? You got some shit, I know you got some creative shit like that, bro.
Yeah. Let me have in my bag real quick. Hold up.
Yeah.
That's like my love language, dog. I hate to say it this way, like spend money. It's not like I even have money, but I just like to like surprise and like do things for. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So I mean,
here I'll tell you one of my stories real quick while I put you on the spot real quick, and hopefully it might reignite something. So, and I always tell the story, and for those that know the envelope story, this is the dun 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 the envelope story. But what I did was, I told this girl one time I was dating this girl, we'd seen each other, and I was like, hey, what are you doing on this day? First of all, she's like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm like, don't make no plans. I'm like, I'll tell you what we're doing the day before. So we ended up talking the day before. She's like, hey, what are we doing tomorrow? I ain't heard from you. And I was like, no, okay. I was like, here's what you're going to do. And I took a picture and it had 3 envelopes. And I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick you up tomorrow and you're going to pick one of the envelopes and we're going to do whatever's in there. And I had 3 different ideas written in each envelope. So I pick her up the next day. She get in my car. She grabs one of the envelopes. She opens it up. And we have in Austin. I know you've been to Austin. I heard you was here a while ago, and you did a show. And my boy Clove opened up for you. I don't know if you remember him, man, but he speaks really highly of you. And so we have this place in Austin called East 6th, and it's real hipstery, up and coming. Got a whole bunch of new bars and shit. So the idea was it was an East 6th adventure. So it was like, go to a new place you've never been to, have a new drink you don't really drink. Eat some new food you ain't never ate. You ate a new place you never ate at. Order a drink for the other person you think they would like. Look for a person with a dog. Look for a hipster. Like all kind of like scavenger hunt type shit, bro. And we ended up doing it, and it ended up being like we had a fucking day out of it, and it was like really fucking cool and really amazing. And I don't know, I think we very much relate on that since like. I'm a romantic at heart. I don't know what rom-com I saw. I don't know what YouTube video I saw to create that. But yeah, man, I thought it's really neat. You know what I'm saying? So that's my story with that.
I might have to write that one down using in the future.
I'll relay it to you, bro.
Once you said that, I have one, and like I hate to put it just because like I feel like I probably did more dope stuff, but this is just the one that came to my head. I remember it's crazy. This is the girl I'm talking to right now. But, I mean, people might not be familiar, but there's this restaurant called Zaxby's. And they're like, all right, cool. So I'm not in Miami now, but I used to live in Miami for a long time. And, like, that restaurant doesn't exist down there.
Okay.
So the girl who I was, like, talking to, I mean, she was living with me at the time. But basically, she was just like, she would always tell me about Zaxby's and how she loved it and blah, 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 blah. But like, it was like, it's not around. So it was just some things she would bring up. I just remember one day, just kind of out of the blue, she had a day off. And I'm like, yo, like, let's go on a trip. Let's go somewhere. So she gets in the car. Of course, as a female, she had a million questions. Where are we going? I'm like, yo, like, just chill.
Just let me surprise you.
Like, let me surprise you. We're going somewhere. So I'm talking about, like, we're literally on the road for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And she's just going with it. She trusts me. So we're driving. We just get off on some random exit and then pull up to Zaxby's. And when I tell you, like, her fucking face lit up, like, she could not believe that shit, that we literally just took like a 2-hour road trip so she could get some Zaxby's. I mean, and it was crazy too because I didn't really look up the place. I just like, well, what's the closest Zaxby's? And we pulled up. I'm talking about, this is like a state of the art Zaxby's. We pulled up. Like, this shit is so nice, bro. Like, it looks like an actual restaurant. It doesn't look like fast food. So we end up going. They have like chairs outside with umbrellas and shit.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Like, this shit worked out. So we're having like this nice ass dinner, like sitting at Zaxby's, and like, it's like a really like, you know, like, it's just a normal thing. But it was like, dude, we busted like a 2-hour road trip to get to Zaxby's, man, and it just worked out perfectly. We ended up going thrift shopping afterwards, and it was a pretty cool little day.
Dude,
going back the next day to go back to work. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's badass, bro. That sounds like that sounds like some. I mean, it sounds like some super Austin shit, and people totally get down with that. Like, that's some badass shit right there. And it can be just like a simple thing, as like going to a Zaxby's, and even if it's 2 hours away, like, that means more. You know what I mean? Than like going to some like lavish or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, and it also really comes down to like when they like, you know, when sometimes they tell you little things that they like and shit. They love when you remember that shit and then act on it later. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things where it was like, yeah, I remember you said that, and like, I held that.
Yeah, it's exactly that, right? Like, they're like, oh, he remembers.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, that's what it was, man.
Oh man, that's fucking great. Now, I always do this with my guests. I want to know, man, do you have a worst date experience, bro?
Worst date experience. I don't know, man. I spend a lot of my time being sad to myself.
Oh no.
I don't know, dude. Let me think.
While you think, I'll share a story real quick. And I keep telling people, I'm like, no, I've never had a bad date. And really, overall, like, I'm a very positive guy. I'm a very optimistic guy. So I like tend to like just like, I'll block out the bad shit. But there was a date where it was going really well. It was like a 6-hour long date, dude. We met at like 6:30. We had like margaritas and shit. Right. And then we go to like a different place, had another drinks. We go to this other place, we had some drinks, and the girl got a little saucy. You know what I mean? A little toasty, right. You know what I mean? And so she was like, well, man, let's go out, let's get some food, or let's go to 6th Street. Obviously, 6th Street's for those that don't know, it's a big street here in Austin where there's a bunch of fucking bars, and you can get trashed up if you want to. Or you can, avoid it and go to some other bars, whatever. But I was just like, okay, well, let's drop off your car at your place because ain't no need to be driving. You know what I mean? We've been drinking and yada yada. So we go and drop off her car at her place. She lives at this apartment complex, really fancy one. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go pee real quick, and then we'll go take a lift. So I walk her by the bathrooms. They're right next to the pool. We didn't even go into her building or her apartment. We just went to right next to the pool. So she goes pee, and I'm there waiting. Hey, Rob Curley, I'm there waiting, like, for a good 20 minutes, bro. So a friend of mine, she had texted me and she was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I'm out and about with our other friends and yada yada. I'm like, I'm on this date, but man, this girl's been in the bathroom for like 20 minutes and I don't know. She's like, dude, like, check on her, make sure she's okay. She's like, was she drinking? I was like, yeah. She's like, she might be passed out in the bathroom. I'm like, shit, you right, dude. So go in, and I'm very nervous. I'm gonna make sure nobody thinks I'm a peeping Tom and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I go in, I creak the little door, open the door. I'm like, hello. Anybody in here? Here. Echoes, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I peep my little head in, and I look under the stalls, see like if I could see some feet or maybe a body laying down or something. Yeah. Bro, ain't no feet. Ain't no nothing.
Nah,
what
bro.
I do see though is a door that connects to the pool. It's kind of like creaked open, bro. And I'm like, no.
No,
this girl came in. I don't even know if she went pee or not. She dipped.
Right through the back door.
Right through the back door.
Nah, man. Come on. You gonna do my mans like that?
Bro, I'm a nice guy.
See, man.
Love is dangerous.
Love is dangerous, man.
You got anything like that, Rob Curley?
Damn, dude. I mean, to be honest, I've never been too much of a dating guy.
Okay.
Let me see. If I go back like to high school, you know, I mean, I don't know if you remember how high school goes. I mean, you meet a girl and that's just your girl, like, you know what I mean? Then after high school, I had about 6 years on and off with one chick. And I had a couple of different girls that, like, you know, I went not on and off, but just hang out with. But they were all like, what I noticed for me that because you know, like when you meet girls, I mean, you either go to school with them, or you work with them, or maybe you might meet them while you're out partying. But it's just like after high school, like the next option I had was like meeting girls at work. But I used to work at Starbucks for a long time, and like I met a girl there that I talked to for a while, and that was cool. But you know, I mean, we were good. We never really had any bad dates. And then it's crazy how so understand how this works. Okay, which is really funny. I started when I left Starbucks, and when I say left Starbucks, I got fired. I started living off of music. So I've been living off of music for maybe 4 years now.
Damn, that's crazy.
And it's just like all my homies and stuff. Like when they meet girls, they usually meet them like at work and shit.
Okay.
And it's like I'm not really on the dating apps and shit, so it's just like I'm at home all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not meeting anybody. So it's just like pretty much everybody who I've ever freaking had some type of relationship with or talked to was just somebody that like I've known from my past, either from school or from work. And like the person that I'm talking to now, it was just one of those situations where it was like my friend's girl's friend, and they came over and we just happened to hit it off.
Friend of a friend.
Yeah, exactly. It was just one of those situations, and it's just like if shit doesn't just fall in my lap, I almost don't go looking for it. So I just never really end up just meeting people.
Right. That's crazy. So a lot of the girls I meet is on dating apps. I use a lot of dating apps because like, bro, like I'm either work or I'm working out or I'm podcasting or I'm dating. Like that's literally my life, bro. Like I'm always fucking, you know, on the hustle, on the go. And like, and I'm very shy too, man. Like I didn't have, and I talked about this openly on the podcast. I was like 315 pounds, bro, when I graduated high school. So I had not a lot of confidence. And it just wasn't in the cards for old Money Blake to, you know,
hey, man.
to be there. And
I'm looking at you now. You turn that shit around, bro. You roll out here. You feel me?
I'm out here now, yeah. But you know, I didn't have a lot of experience with that, and I was always shy, and like I never had confidence and all the good stuff. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22 and a half, bro. Like I'm a late bloomer, but hey, your boy hit the game heavy now. You know what I'm saying? Like this last year. Yeah. Hey, boo, 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 finger gunning everywhere.
Taking up a long time.
Yeah. Hey. So I sometimes meet people through like I'm trying to do that now. Like meet people the kids call IRL in real life. You know what I mean? Like out and about and here and there. And but yeah, a lot of dating apps is what I use, and it's always interesting because it's like, whoa, you meet somebody, you meet a stranger. Hey, I always tell like my roommate where I'm going, just in case I want to end up on the next 48 or some shit like that. CSI or some shit. It'd be like that though. Rob, how old are you, man?
26. Just turned 26.
20.
Man.
Oh yeah, happy. Oh, that's right. It was your birthday not too. Happy belated birthday to you again, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, bro. This is so I'm 31. I just turned 31 in July. I know I probably don't look 31, and I'll be out shit. I'll be out shit.
Wow, man. I would have paid you for like 24, man.
Oh my God, appreciate it, man. But yeah, so this is interesting because I do talk to a lot of people, and I always try to understand the interpersonal workings of like you talked about it. You were like, I met people in high school, I meet people at work, I meet people through friends of a friends. They're basically removed from the online dating culture. You know what I mean? Have you ever tried like online dating? Have you ever thought about it? Like, not to say you need it now or anything, but I'm just saying, you know?
No. I totally understand. Like, I went on there before, but what I found out about Tinder first is like, I'm pretty sure like if you know anything about Tinder, it's like it's either a catfish or it's like some bot account or it's like send me money or you know what I'm saying, some bullshit. So there was that, and it's crazy that you brought up Bumble because I've been on there before and it does seem a lot more legit and like people and stuff. But I just like I don't know, man. I just never really got matches on them shits.
Bro, yeah, it is. You know, it's fucking it's hard, bro. So it's and yeah, I mean, where do I start real quick? Like, I remember the first time I got on Tinder last August, man, and I got a match. And I was like paraded around my apartment with my roommate's dog. I was like, Roscoe, we got a match, buddy.
Yeah.
But also I hadn't dated in like 6 months. And I was and when I got into my relationship with my ex of 5.5 years, bro, there were no dating apps in 2012, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like shit wasn't popping then, you know, like nobody knows anything, you know? So I had to like rediscover. So I was just like, you know what I'm gonna hit her with? I'm gonna hit her with the hey, what's up?
Word.
Hey, this seems like what all the cool kids are doing. Hey, bro, three hours later, got this match, bro.
Oh, man.
So I had to take time, man. So like I took like a month and a half off, and like I watched like YouTube videos on like, and I read articles on like how to build your profile, what pictures to use. Like there's algorithms on these bitches on the fucking apps, bro. Like you certain way to swipe and certain times to swipe, and like if you don't have the time to do it, you're just lucky to get a match, I suppose. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things, man. But it's a whole fucking thing to learn. Not to get off topic too much, but yeah, you're right. Like, and then it's like you don't get matched, and you're like, man, fuck this app.
Yeah, man. And the thing about Tinder is like, what I know is like I'll get 1 million likes. You know what I mean? But then they give you the little blurry picture, and they're like, "Nah, pay $15 a month to see like who likes it." You know what I mean? I'm just like, "Nah, fuck this shit."
That.
Man. Yeah, I'm like, this is a fucking scam. So.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy world. Stay. I always tell people if you're not on it, stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want no part of this shit, Dewey Cox. You know what I mean? Like, so curious question, man. You talk about, you know, rom-coms, movies, shit like that. Do you have like a list of like your favorite like go-to rom-coms and shit like that, man? Because I got a few in my.
I'm a little bit of a movie buff myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying. I mean, I got a couple movies that are some go-tos for me. I mean, obviously, 500 Days of Summer is fire.
Love that one.
There's a movie called Eternal
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, The Spotless Mind. Yeah, that shit is A1. You know what I mean? There's a movie I like. I don't want to mix it up. It's not No Strings Attached. I think that's the one with like Justin Timberlake. But there's another one. No Strings Attached. No Strings Attached is the one that I like. I think the one with Justin Timberlake is the Friends with Benefits. I might be mixing them up.
Yeah, because there's one with Ashton Kutcher and then there's one with Justin Timberlake.
That's the one I love.
Okay.
The one with Ashton Kutcher, I fuck with that one heavy.
Okay. I think that's Friends with
Benefits. The one with Friends with Benefits?
I think that's it. We let's use the Google machine. Wait a minute now. We got the Google machine. We got technology, Rob Curley. Let's see. Friends with Benefits. Wait, that's the one with no. So Friends with Benefits is the one with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. So it is
No Strings Attached.
No Strings Attached. Let's see. Drum roll, please. Natalie Portman, Ashton Kutcher. That's the one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
Love Don't Cost a Thing. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's like Nick Cannon and Christina Milian.
Oh, back in the day. Yes.
Very good movie.
Where he pays her to be like a girlfriend for a little bit or something like that. Yeah.
And then, like he starts to get too cool for her and shit. one. Damn, I hate that I'm going blank because this is definitely my genre. I mean, yeah, those are my top though. I
Yeah,
like those.
I like. So I'll throw 500 Days of Summer in my top 500 Days of Summer. Man, one I got recently turned on to. I say recently, last year in December was When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally.
Have you seen that?
I don't know. Let me put this in my notes.
It's Billy Crystal, and it is Meg Ryan.
Let me Google it.
Yeah.
Let me just see like a screenshot.
Yeah. It's a classic for those that do know. It's one of the classic like rom-coms because it's Billy Crystal in his heyday, bro, when he still had hair and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Right.
My man's killing the game. And I feel like, man, there's so many other ones, but the one like Love Actually, that's a fucking great one.
Yeah.
You Got Mail. Goddamn, Tom Hanks. Shout outs to Tom Hanks. Yeah, man. Like a lot of fan of the early '90s one because they do even. You know what I consider one? Shout outs to Joseph Gordon-Levitt for doing this one too. Have you seen Don John?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
I feel like that's a.
Isn't that the one where it was like he masturbated all the time?
Yeah.
The girl wasn't fucking with it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely seen that one.
Hey, everybody, go watch the movie where Joseph Gordon-Levitt masturbates all the time, and it's got Scarlett Johansson and Julianne Moore.
This is the first thing that came to my head. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's gonna go and want to watch it now. They'll be like, "Is this an X videos? Where's shit at?"
Right, wait a minute. Let me see what the fuck they talking about.
Oh man, yeah. So with all that in mind, man, I mean, I'm just thinking about that movie again. Like, goddamn, that's the one where the dude masturbated. You know what that reminded me of when you said one where dude masturbated? One of my favorite songs by you, man. No Chorus.
Oh man, yeah, that was some shit right there.
That was some shit right there. What outside of like, and we'll take it away from dating talk just for a bit, man. Bro, your wordplay, and you're like, just like, man, like the way you put things together and make them like the metaphors and shit like that, bro. Unbelievable. What for me personally, bro, I jam that shit all the time in the gym, man. So like, what brings on something? What inspired you to write that shit?
Man, I'm trying to put myself back in that headspace. Only thing I could probably say for sure is just I just wanted to rap.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to. I can't say for sure because that was a while ago, but I just know sometimes I get into these modes where like I'm tired of just making like I don't know if you noticed, I'm not super big on choruses. I do it sometimes, but like that's not my, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of like to just go through the whole song, everything's different, and just lay out my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when I made that song, it was just one of those like I haven't rapped in a long time, and I just want to just find a beat and go 4 minutes.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just
that little speech
lay
at the
it
end.
out there.
The little speech at the end, which is the reason when you were like, "Oh, that's a movie where dude masturbate all the time." Because at the end of the song, you talk about, "Hey, buddy, you remember that YouTube video where dude was like, you won't succeed until you want to breathe, until you
see as much as you want to breathe."
Yeah, and he's like, I remember that. He's like, but I feel that shit now, dude. And I let that whole fucking song play because that whole thing at the end where you're like, I just want to be, I just want to do what I want to do, be where I want to be. I want to take, my mom's on trips and shit. I just want to, man, I don't know. Like, you just like talk. Did you write that out or was just like that, like you just talking?
No, dude, I just literally just first take, just like let that shit out how I was feeling. Cause like sometimes that feeling is so strong. Like you just want to be able to, cause it's like, there's this idea of like, oh, there's certain things you can't do, certain things you can't do, what you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, it's crazy how the world is structured around money. And it's just like, if you got some dollars, like all these ideas that you have, all these people that you want to be happy and to take care of. And cause I even in that speech, I remember I said something about like I just want to be my mom's lottery ticket.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like she gave birth to me and I just kind of want to be, cause I mean, she's worked her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, paycheck after paycheck, saving money, taking care of my grandmother. And I'm just like, she had me as a kid. I almost want to be like that. Like, I almost want to be her meal ticket.
Right. Yeah.
Because she's never really chased that next level of wealth. And I just kind of want to be that for her. And it's just like, man, sometimes I feel that so strongly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people feel that way. It's just like, you just want to be able to take care of the people around you.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely. And that comes across on the song. And you're like, it's like, you know, there was a part of it where you're like, it's not like we can't do it. We see other people doing it, you know, so it's out there. And it was just like, it's like, so for those who don't, go listen to No Chorus. Like, that's literally like two of my favorite songs by you. I mean, just song for song, not like EP for EP, but like song for song. No Chorus and Love is Dangerous, man. Like, that shit's fucking mind fucking blown, bro. Because you just go ham and cheese sandwich on the song, man. On that note, though, you talk about rapping, man. Do you have like who are your inspirations? Who like made you want to get into it, or who you look to like now?
Right,
it's like in the game.
So if we throw it back, because the thing is, it's crazy now, and I guess the best way to like explain what I'm about to say is, I got my you know, the little Spotify Wrapped that just came out.
Yeah. You're in my top
so
5.
I have my man. So I have the one as an artist, but then I also have the one as a listener. I have the Spotify account, and the one as a listener, like my Spotify, like my top 5 is totally terrible. It's like people I don't even listen to, and it's just like, and that just kind of really opened my eyes. Like, I don't know if this is like a bad thing to say, but like, I don't listen to a lot of music, and it's almost because like a lot of things that come out now I don't want to be influenced by, because it kind of puts you into like this mode of like writing about things that don't matter. And like, one of my biggest I don't know how to explain it, maybe like mission statement, like, I just never want to make music that doesn't last. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make music that like 10 years from now, like, it's still relevant, and it's not just like it's cool right now. That's why like I really put a lot of stock into like just telling stories and stuff, because I feel like as long as I'm telling stories about myself, whatever you're going through, somebody's always relating to what you're going through. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like as long as I'm always telling stories, then I'm always making timeless music. So, damn, what was the original question? Where am I going with this?
Oh, like, see what happens when you go on my podcast? We just start bullshitting. We don't know where the fuck we're going.
Conversation at this point, man.
That's what, you know what? Like, not to get off topic, I remember the original question while I'm about to say what I'm about to say was like rappers that either influence you to get in the game or to influence you now.
So, yeah, basically where I was going with that is like, I want to say back when I was in 9th grade, because 9th grade is when I first, like, I always listened to rap music, but I never like even thought about rapping. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So when I was in 9th grade, I want to say that was like maybe 2007 or something like that, like around that time.
Rob Curly on, man. I got Rob Curly, Roomie. Oh, shit. Come say hi real quick. Come wave. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off. My roommate's a big fan of yours too, man.
Dude, what's up, man?
What's up?
Fucking crazy. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm about to head out. That's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes, man. We're keeping all this in the podcast too. All right, so Rob, I'm sorry to cut you off. So 9th grade, you didn't really want to.
Like, it wasn't that I was like I wasn't into rap. I was listening to rap, but I'd never really considered like rapping. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So 9th grade is when I met a friend of mine, Dion, YPNESOD on Instagram, and like, cause when I first started, I was in a group.
Okay.
I started off in a group, me, 2 other guys, but like he really got me into it because he was already into it. And then so like, say for example, we'd be in class, he'll write a line, pass me the paper, I'll write the next line, and it was like the whole idea was like we were always trying to come up with the best metaphor. And this is like Lil Wayne's like in his heyday.
Oh, Carter and shit.
Yeah. So he's coming out with like 1 million features all year. He's dropping a Carter 3 and shit. So I mean, we're just metaphors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And during that time, that was like the transition between Lil Wayne going to jail and Drake like
coming up,
taking his place.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because before Drake was Drake, he was like on this show Degrassi and all this type of shit. And so the same
Wheelchair
guy,
Jimmy.
You know what I'm saying? So my same homie who kind of like really got me into rapping, he put me on a Degrassi. And so I'm talking about me and him. We should watch Degrassi. Like, we'll be talking about the episodes. Like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? And so there was an episode where Drake, Wheelchair Jimmy, he goes on stage and he's like, his girl's kind of bombing at a talent show, and so he goes up there and starts rapping. And I call my homie like, bro, Jimmy can rap for real, bro. Like, imagine. And when I tell you, Jimmy comes out as Drake, and I'm like, nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when I tell you, like, I'm a Drake fan from like the very get-go, and it was just like I used to, like, that's probably why my subject matter is what it is, and why I'm so into telling stories, because like you ask a lot of younger people these days, and what I'm noticing from what I see on social media is like the respect for Drake is like nowhere near what it was or what I think it should be, because he's kind of switched up what he was. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, he was Mr. Can Do No Wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing that Drake dropped that wasn't incredible.
Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, that whole mixtape, the So Far Gone,
Paradise, So Far Gone, Take Care, like some of my favorite stuff from him was like the singles that he dropped in between that you can't even find online anymore. The Right Above It, I forget the name of the song.
There's one he did with Trey Songz back in the day in like 2007. Like, I don't know if you remember that one. Man, yeah. He did that one with J. Cole that God, it was like a slow jam, and Drake was sick like when he recorded. And
in the morning?
Yeah. Can I hit it in the morning? Hey!
I haven't heard that, but Dreams Money Can Buy, like just all of those songs. Club Paradise is probably one of my top songs ever. Yeah. And just hearing all those stories and just like really getting in depth and being vulnerable and shit. But like just getting off topic, like what I hate the most is Drake did an interview one time and he was just like, oh, people think I'm a sap and blah, 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 blah. And I think that like he took that shit so hard that he had to drop like more hard shit and like trying to be more tough. And I was like, dude, that was the worst decision you ever made. Like,
right.
Like be a sap. Be a sap, dog. That shit is beautiful. Like, fuck it.
It's funny that you bring up Drake, man, because I tell a lot of people who haven't heard you, I was like, listen, and there's an equation that I make to you and Drake, because I was like, I know y'all I'm like, what's Rob Curley? And I'm like, let me send you some songs. And I'm like, to be quite honest, like his favorite shit that I love for him to do, it's like what Drake tries to do when he's emo, but Rob Curley does it fucking better. Like, I think you do Heartbreak better than Drake. To be quite honest,
man, that's high praise right there, bro. That's high praise.
I was like, Rob Curley does what Drake wishes he could do. Like, and I'm like, it's not to take away from Drake. I'm like, Drake makes the club anthems and he makes some heavy hitters, but I'm like, in this particular subject matter, Rob Curley is the cream of the crop, and I say that and I stand by it, bro.
Hey man, this is my favorite podcast, man.
My man. But yeah, okay. So that's interesting. So it seems like Drake is a big thing, is a big influence to get you in, man. That's and like I think people, they can kind of hear that when they hear your music. Like, it's not you're trying to emulate, like try to copy Drake. It's like your own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more so just the idea of like I'm sure artists have done it before, but Drake was what really like made me feel like, all right, you don't have to like go out your way to try to be tough on a record. You can just talk about your life and what's going on, what you're going through, because people will relate.
And I think to even go that back further, I think one of the first big people, and shout outs to him, he's one of my favorite, Kanye West, was the first one to be like, you ain't got to be a gangster to talk about your life. You know what I mean? And then we get people like Drake, and then the next like kind of evolution of that, I think we get artists like you, and like it's crazy how, and I see it all the time because you share it and like people share it, right? Like, when is Rob Curley gonna blow? When he's gonna blow up? You know what I mean? Like the glow up needs to be even more in 2020, man.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it all the time, man, but it's like, you know, the music business is the music business.
You can only do so much. Yeah, man. I totally. Like, is there and I know it's probably, I feel like this year, like circling back, like at the beginning of the year, I was like, man, when Rob Curley gonna go on tour? Like January, February. Man, where Rob Curley gonna go? But then we look back now, like hindsight's always 20/20, right? And you look back and I'm like, no, I would have not wanted him to go on tour with all the music that he put out this year, because this music was fucking important. He had shit to get off his mind. Don't need a Valentine for Valentine's Day? bro. Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Were you single when you released that, or what?
I don't know if you peeped, but I dropped 2 songs at that time. One called Fade, one
Fade,
called
and don't.
Valentine.
Yeah, don't need no Valentine.
Yeah, and they both had a feature from an artist called Zaya.
Oh, don't be trying to hit my phone. Don't need no Valentine. Okay, she sang that part.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence, man. She was right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Wink, wink to the fans.
You know what
Rob,
I'm saying?
is there any plans to like do any kind, like, for me as a fan, like, not just me talking in an interview, or like we just having a conversation before I get into it. This is what I was gonna circle back to. Man, this podcast is all about having a conversation, bro. It's not about like I'm a news media person and I don't work for no, newspaper or nothing. Man, this is people having open conversations, and I think that's what the beauty is of having a podcast like this, because the conversation can go anywhere. It's dating a relationship, but the conversation can go anywhere. Right. And that's what I think the beauty is when we break down your songs here on the podcast. It's like it goes everywhere, and it's about experiences and relating to those experiences. You know what I mean? And I think it's a beautiful thing in and of that. And I think to relate that to your music, that's what you try to do. You create these experiences and create relatable experiences with people who are going through the things that you've gone through or are going through. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, circling back though, tour plans. Any plans in 2020? Is it just, kind of try to put out some new music? Like, no pressure. Hey, no pressure, bro.
No. I'm gonna break it down. To be honest, I went to Texas.
Yeah.
I did a couple of shows. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But I learned a few things.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I learned is I want to be able to, I really want to be able to, have my own shows. Like I want to reach a point where I am able to book a tour and kind of do it myself, because I got a bunch of offers over the last year and even the year before that to like join other people's tours and be an opener. And I even got some off the cuff things like, I don't know if you know about like people who have those what's it is? Like those little ninja warrior type of vibes where people go out and they do obstacle courses and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of those, and it's wild because the companies that do those things, they like to have artists come out and like kind of create a vibe for the whole event.
Crowd and shit.
So like I had like a company reach out to me to do like a countrywide tour, but it's just like I don't want to do it when I feel like it's not the right time. Okay. And like that's like the overarching like idea that I've been kind of following, because like I had a couple different offers to like join people's tours, but I kind of just want to keep sticking to the music, dropping good music until I reach a point where like I can kind of do my own thing. I want to set up my own tour, have my own experience, so when my fans come, it's just kind of me and them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put it off forever, but I think that 2020 is going to be a big year. So I think that either this year or following this year is when I'll be able to make that happen. Because, I mean, from 2014 until now, I haven't really had the resources to, blow up or whatever. I just drop music, and kind of where I am now is just organically people finding my music, telling their friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this year I got a couple of people that I'm working with, a couple things I can't even talk about.
Okay.
But, I got some things in the works that I think will make 2020 a year that kind of changes a lot. So I'm hoping that all that stuff really comes to fruition. And if it does, I think that tour is like right on the heels. You know what I mean?
Man, that's super fantastic to hear. Like it's in the forefront of your mind. It's a thought, and you want to do it. It's like, it just sounds like you want to do it your way. If it's going to be done, you want to do it your way. And I'm sure like this, hopefully the fans tune in so that way they know like, oh shit, Rob Curley coming to a city near you one of these days.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully a whole countrywide tour if I could do it right. So.
I mean, wink, wink, come to Austin, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just come to, just throw that in there.
You already know, man. You already know.
We'll throw it down when you get here, man. But Rob, I appreciate the time, man. Like, this has been one of the most awesome experiences for me personally, like as a fan, getting into your music, coming down, like, and I'll kind of go down the story real quick before we wrap up. But I was listening to a lot of Kyle. I'm a big Kyle fan. And I went down, and I'm sure we all do this, went down I think I had like a little playlist of Kyle, and then it put in rotation, you know how it has like on Spotify, like songs you might like, songs that are similar to the playlist you make. And Honeymoon came on. And
man.
I was like, who the fuck is this?
Oh man.
Yeah. And then I see dude, I'm like, bro, like what is this? What is this shit right here, bro? And so I start listening to the EP. Like I went through it the first time and I wasn't really going through a whole bunch of like heartbreak stuff, but I'd heard the whole EP and I was just like, man, this shit is fucking gold. Like, what is this? And as I remember as I kind of went through dating and as I went through certain scenarios and I went through certain experiences, right, like where it does leave you a little bit more heartbroken and stuff like that. Even recently, you know what I mean? It leaves you a little bit like, and then this year I really started jamming 1111. I didn't catch on to that. I was like, that's a good song, you know, but like everybody has their own favorites by artists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really, as things started going by, I started really getting more into your music. I think I have like a 40-track playlist of your shit, like just like a Rob Curley playlist, bro. Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. And it's not to be like, oh, Rob Curley's on it. I'm fucking be all on his nuts and shit. But just like, I'm a big fan, man. Like, I am a big fan of the music, and I gotten more into it over this year, man. And I can't wait to see what you do in 2020. Hopefully, we stay in touch. And before you go on tour, next EP or something, we could break down some more songs and shit like that. I hope you had a great time, man.
For sure.
But yeah, Rob, again, thank you so much for the time. Shout out yourself real quick, bro, where people can find you, your music. Like, take over my show for a little bit, man. Just self-promote, man.
First of all, I appreciate you for having me. I go by the name of Rob Curley. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at Rob Curley _ That's ROBCURLY _ Dropping new music all the time. Feel free to go back in my catalog. I got hundreds of songs for you to listen to, going all the way back from my high school years until now. You can follow my story. And hey, I'm looking forward to this coming year.
Man, exciting. You're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Wherever an artist can be found, I'm there. Wherever you can type in Rob Curley, go type that shit in. Rob, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody go follow the show, Unfiltered Bachelor, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow me, Money Blakeweather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Ladies, I'm on the dating app, so hey, I'm be like Waldo. Where's Waldo me? You can try and find me. You can go ahead and follow. You can go ahead and follow the show, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere podcasts are. That's where the show is. Rob, thank you so much again for coming on, everybody. Hope you have a great morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And until the next time, we'll see you. Peace.
She don't know why that she love me. She say she attached. Hanging right up in my face and calling me back when I don't call her back. Asking me questions like I'm gonna crack. Passive aggressive whenever we chat. I got the message that she was a blessing. The second she said that she not coming back. Memories flash, sharing a blunt in a bath. Listening, loving her laugh. She say I hate you and I get offended, but I always wondered if she ever meant it. I wanna tell her that I could be different, but then I'ma wonder if I even meant it.